Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So the summer festival is gone and done for this year, and overall I'd like to give you my experience and whether or not it was profitable and even worse to kick those Sahaa Balls. We checked the Zen Market and we have a few new things here, including a 20% sale along with mythic insignia packs that can drop legendary mounts. And on top of that you can get kind of an exclusive mount that doesn't return all too often, and the mount has been in, I believe, an Astral Lockbox, so it is available also on the auction house, so you can get it anytime if you really wanted it. Now, following the dev posts on the forums, you can see that they've gone and actually apologized for putting Zariel in the Astral Lockbox. They said the inclusion of Zariel was an accidental addition. Wow, Cryptic. How could you mess that up? But I guess that's not really unlike them when you think about it. So they apologize for the frustration and they appreciate your understanding. Any of you not in the know-how, this companion came from the limited time Redeem Citadel campaign in Milestone 3. Only 100 people could ever obtain the companion in the entire game, and now with it being added to the Astral Lockbox, yeah, that's a bit disrespectful to the work that these guys had to put in to originally obtain it. And again, with the level up event, the incentives were bugged and not dropping for new leveling characters. They managed to resolve it, as they say here. But if you're missing some incentives, so you didn't get 100 on, let's say, your character after getting to level 20, and or you didn't obtain the free character loadout in the level 12 box, they advise you to go and contact support. So now let's go over whether or not the summer festival was actually worth doing, specifically those Sahaa Balls. But before we get started, let's give a special thank you to all these channel members for the continued support. Now don't be worried, if you didn't spend all of your summer festival currency, there is a last chance vendor just for this following week. You will have the festival priestess just here where you can trade in all of your flower petals for food, for cosmetics, and otherwise you have your tribute store which you can trade in those favors of soon. Additionally, you'll have the ticket exchange vendor where you'll still be able to exchange your tickets in. Now, I done a bunch of Sahaa Ball kicking, and we can see, since you can still buy some of them from the Zen Market, that we got a total of 8,910 volleys. That isn't a lot, and we were just in a group of 4, so effectively I had 3 other people kicking 100 balls for me, and we kicked 400 total, which was about 2 hours worth. Was it worth that time? In my opinion, yeah, kind of, because most of the time you're just AFK while the other person does their thing, and you get a bunch of petals. We can see the maximum total here on a character I copied over before I spent them was 3,277 just from the Sahaa Balls, which isn't a lot, but you need to take into consideration the copper tickets, because those copper tickets you can exchange in for, as you can see, flowers for everyone, which is 220 fire blossoms for 15 copper tickets. So if I were to go and spend all of my copper tickets, if we take this amount of tickets, divide by 15, and then multiply by that 220, we should get a total of 13,000 fire blossoms. And that's where the majority of your fire blossoms were coming from, copper tickets from kicking the balls. However, alternatively, you can simply just log in every day on every character. If you have like 20 characters, you're getting a total of 21 favor during the entirety of the event. Trade in each favor for 220 fire blossom petals, and that's 4,620 fire blossoms per character. And if you have a total of 20 characters, that's 92,000 fire blossom petals, which then, most importantly, you would spend on pinatas on each of those characters. And if the pinatas cost 50 each, you're getting a total of 1,848 pinatas, which realistically is going to last you the entire year of your supply of squash soup, caprice, and watermelon sorbet, with a lot spare to be able to sell if you so pleased. However, the most important thing is to actually use those pinatas during the summer festival height, as you will gain double the amount of fire blossoms per pinata, essentially ending up in a loop where the pinata will give you about 30 fire blossom petals, And so you'll end up only having to spend 20 Fire Blossom petals per pinata, and you can end up then with a net worth of nearly 5,000 pinatas. Yeah, crazy. Good luck opening that many during the event. And the trick to open those pinatas really quick, many thanks to Gus for actually showing this to us. I'm definitely going to be advertising it next year, as you can essentially have like a Mystic Fiora or Fiora companion. You use it and you can see they will take damage simply from the aura of said companion, and then you can just use your next pinata and then that one will burst. And if you have many, you don't even have to go out of your inventory, and when they take damage and you use the next one, they will drop you some rewards. People here coming to leech my rewards. Great, guys. So my takeaway is, if you have over 10 characters, really don't bother too much with kicking Sahaa Balls, as just logging in, getting that favor point per day can just give you more petals for a lot less time invested. Yes, if you want to go with the big grind of Sahaa Balls, absolutely you can. So with that, yes, Summer Festival is very useful to get said buff food, and that's pretty much the only reason I run this event. Buff food. You do have alternate rewards. You can get like this companion, and then the new mount from this year. Personally, wouldn't really go for them unless you literally don't have any other options. And otherwise, if you really like the cosmetic, go for it. The rune board is pretty unique in the way it rides around, and it can be quite fun. So back to the Zen Market again, everything's 20% off here. You can get your Roth Valley Premium Pass for 2,000 Zen. You can do that with a coupon normally as well, but just a bit easier than here with having it always active. And then you can buy all the buyouts if you really wanted to. Personally, just play the game if that's what you're interested in. Otherwise, don't buy the pass in the first place. And you can see you can still buy the Draconic Rage Pass as well, since that is active, but only if you have the premium pass. Otherwise, it's inactive. And then you can get that mount, the Shadow Drake, which personally doesn't look like much. Not very exclusive, as they do re-release it every half year or so in the Zen Market. Now, in supplies, you have those Mythic Insignia bags, and realistically, do not open them in the hopes of getting a legendary mount. And even so, most of these legendary mounts are dirt cheap, and the only real good one, in my opinion, is Swarm, as you can get alternative options. You can get those T-Rexes with that same buff on the King of Spines already, and so without them stacking, there's no point in them. And the rest, yeah, just pretty underwhelming, and you'll just use them for cosmetics. You want mythic mounts at this point, especially having them account wide, where looking through this list, it only seems that the Armored Griffin is account wide, which is very odd. But yes, you can get them to try get Mythic Insignias. But actually, these days, Mythic Insignias have been going down in price, and that is especially because I believe they are dropping more so in chests, 1.5 million, whereas they used to be like 3 million. Of course, some of the best insignias are probably still pretty expensive, the ones that the majority of people will use in their builds. So mainly just a retrospective video on the Summer Festival and how it was for me. Yes, I definitely got enough buff food in this event to last me at least a year by popping those pinatas. Again, ideally you'll pop all those pinatas within the Summer Festival height, the last week of the Summer Festival. And I figured out it doesn't matter at all when you start kicking your Sahaa Balls. You can do it from day one. You can do it outside of the event. You'll still get your rewards, your drops. You just won't be able to spend them if you do them outside of the event. So again, I'd like to give a special thank you to all of these channel members for the added support. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. I'll see you all around. Goodbye for now.